United stand. I'm not going to do this in the studio tonight. I'm going to go raw because I feel raw tonight and I don't need the pretentious backgrounds to say what I'm about to say. And that is that, you know what? I have ignored it. I have tried to not get pulled into the how long the transfers are taking. But something happened this afternoon that just really irritated me. And it doesn't matter if you're a top red, if you don't like people who aren't from Manchester, whatever. It doesn't really matter where you stand on this, because I think every single Manchester United fan will have to accept that this is the situation and it's not acceptable, because actually it's only the United fans I see actually fighting back from this. So this afternoon, I mean, 6 years ago, Sir Alex Ferguson was the manager of Manchester United and everything was rosy. He retired, we were the champions of England. And then for the last 6 years, it's been a bloody joke. It's been a joke. And we can mock Chelsea because they've had 6 managers in 6 years, but they've got 2 Premier League titles. We've got none. And there's this fire. This is what's irritating me the most about Manchester United at the moment, because maybe we are going to make some signings. Maybe we are, and we can speak about that in a moment. But what's not happening is there is no enthusiasm around the support at the moment. There's a lot of negativity. There's very low expectations. And I think for what? For what? We're the richest club in the world. Why are expectations so low? Why is there so much apathy around our support at the moment? Why is it happening? And I'll tell you why it's happening. It's because it's the mantra that's being fed down to us from our manager, from our owners, from our players. It's this, second's good enough. Title doesn't matter. We don't need to go and spend big. We're not going to spend big. We're going to evolve the players we've got. We're going to evolve the players we've got that aren't good enough. I mean, don't for 1 minute tell me. In fact, I want to say this first. Look, 6 years ago, there was a little fire. It started probably about 10 years ago. It was a little fire called Man City. It was a match in a hayfield on a hot summer's day. And Manchester United have always had the power to just put a bucket of water on it and put it out. We could even call the fire brigade. We could get a fire extinguisher. We could have done anything we wanted to do at Manchester United. And what we decided to do was nothing. And we're still deciding to do nothing. And that fire that is Manchester City is getting bigger and bigger. And it's no longer a hayfield now. It's a whole bloody country. And soon it's going to be Europe. And soon it's going to be the whole world. Because they are just getting bigger and bigger and spending more money and getting the right people in and playing the right football. And they are building a club in next to no time. The one thing they don't have, though, is football fans. And I see things today and people are saying, Mark, you're getting triggered by this. Don't get triggered by it. It's Man City. Man City put a tweet out this afternoon that was great pass by De Bruyne, Lukaku loses control, ... Effectively being smart, smug gits taking the piss out of our number 9. And the only people I see reacting to it are Manchester United fans, because we're irritated by it. We want to knock those plastic-seated, arrogant whatevers off their bloody perch. We want to do it. But we're the only ones. The fans are the only ones who want to do it. We want to knock them off their perch. We want to go toe-to-toe. And I see some of the replies and the typical Mancunian humour, or even people all around the world, they're giving it. They want to give it back. But we're not. We're not. Our board doesn't want to give it back. They don't want to really give it back. As for Jose Mourinho, you know what? I sat there this evening and I thought, you know what? Mourinho gets a lot of stick, but he is undoubtedly one of the best managers in the world, and he always has been. Do you really think he thinks Phil Jones is good enough? Do you really think he thinks Ashley Young's good enough? Do you really think he thinks Marouane Fellaini's good enough when he's never used a target man like that in his whole career? I know exactly why he uses Fellaini, because he's got a squad of players that lack fight and leadership, and Fellaini, no matter that he's not the best footballer, he's probably number 1 in that squad who runs through brick walls, and he knows that, and he needs that. And I mean, this is a man who's managed some of the best defenders in the world, and he's got Phil Jones and he plays him. He doesn't do that because he suddenly thinks Phil Jones is a good defender. He's not blind to what every Manchester United fan see. I mean, I saw Eden Hazard get the ball today after he'd scored the goal, and Phil Jones was running away from him. He was terrified. I mean, he's not going to win us a title, Phil Jones, and Ashley Young is a winger. He's all heart. Again, I think what Jose Mourinho does is he picks players who actually fight. And I don't want to ridicule Phil Jones or Ashley Young or Fellaini anymore, because actually, I think Mourinho picks them because he can't bloody replace them, and 2, they actually give 100%, and they actually convey his message on a football pitch. But don't come telling me that Jose Mourinho, if he had $1 billion, he'd still be playing Ashley Young or Phil Jones. It'd be, thanks very much, lads. I'll sort you out with a nice little payoff on your bonus on your way out the door. But no way. Jose Mourinho's having to make do. You know it. I know it. It's a fact. And Manchester United, look, I think we will make. I think we will make signings. But I'm massively concerned that day in, day out, week in, week out, year in, year out now, it's the fans who are desperately trying to fight back from our rivals. We're getting mocked by Liverpool fans. We're even getting mocked by bloody Arsenal fans because of the lack of transfer activity we're making. Chelsea have just gone and got a new manager. They're going to go and start doing something in the transfer market. Man City don't need to. They've got 20 points on us and they are ripping us. The reality, the only saving grace with Man City is they've got no bloody fans. They've got a decent social media team. They rip the piss out of us every opportunity they get. And it's so irritating. It's so irritating. And I know there'll be people on there saying, Goldbridge, shut up, sit down, you're from Nottingham and all. Whatever. I don't really care about that. I support the club like a lot of you do. And we can attack ourselves, or we can look at what the bloody problem is here. And the problem here is that we are getting laughed at for no other reason than our owners will not put the money into the club because they want to make money. And it's not a new problem. It's been there for a long time. But I, for one, am becoming irritated by it now. I don't mind the fact that, I do mind the fact that they don't put the money in there. But when the success is there, it's hard to argue with it. But when the success dries up, and you look at clubs like, Man City are going to win the league next year. At the moment, they're winning the league. There's no one getting near them. Chelsea might be about to spend a bit of money. Liverpool will always bottle it. We might be second by 20 points again. But Man City are winning the league at this point, and they're probably going to be a good bet for the Champions League as well. We're nowhere near it, and there is an apathy around Manchester United because Jose Mourinho comes out and says, well, United haven't won anything for 6 years. He's right, but he's keeping expectations down low. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable what's going on at our club. We are the richest club in the world. And basically, we're falling into a dangerous trap as fans where we're just putting up with it. We're like, yeah, we're not going to win the league. I'm as guilty as anybody. I've said our expectations are low. My expectations are low next season. Well, I tell you what, they're not. We're winning the league next year because we should win the bloody league. I'm going to go exactly opposite of what I feel I should do. We are going to win the league next year because we're Manchester United. We're the richest club in the world, and we should be able to buy our way out of this. And I hate to say buy, but it's correcting the mistakes from the past. We've got the money. We should win the league next year. None of this nonsense about, Mourinho's not good enough. None of this nonsense about the squad's not good enough. We should win the league next year. And if the board don't deliver the money to Mourinho for us to win the league, then that's the problem, isn't it? But I'm not having this apathetic, weak mentality anymore that we're just not going to do it. We're not going to do it because the club aren't going to invest. Bloody invest. It's about time the club woke up and looked at what great, fantastic support we've got within this club. It's about time this club looked around and realised. The Glazers don't support Manchester United. I don't think Ed Woodward supports Manchester United. I think they support bringing a lot of money into the club, which we bring in. But it's about time they started looking at why the kitchen manufacturer from bloody America, or why the soap powder from China, or why the bloody shoe buckle holder from India, or why the South African bloody exhaust pipe want to sponsor the club. And I don't know whether there is any of those sponsoring it, but it's about time the club looked at why all these sponsors are pouring money into their pockets. Because of us. It's because of the fans. We've got millions of them worldwide. That's why everybody wants to be attached to Manchester United, because they want their kitchen manufacturer's name all over the shirt that the fans buy and go, who's that? America's a massive market. They want to look at that shirt and they want to go, who's that? So they buy a new bloody kitchen. If the fans aren't happy, you stop making money. You've got to please the fans. And the reality is there's so much profit coming out of that club. They could reduce their profit margins by 10% for 1 year, and we could be bringing people like Ronaldo into this club. But they won't bloody do it. They won't do it. And it's irritating. But I tell you what, from now on, we're winning the league next year. We're winning the league next year because we should win the league next year, because we've got the resources to do it. And also, as well, let me just say, it's not just about the owners. It's about a total and utter lack of leadership within the club. Yet again, we're hearing about Paul Pogba being linked to Barcelona because Mini Raiola's offered to him. Obviously, it's probably paper talk, but why? We never had this in the days of Robson. We never had it in the days of Keane. You never had somebody at the club who was, one of your star players touting themselves around. I remember Roy Keane, his contract was nearly up and there was talk of him going to Juventus, and he ended up signing the new contract at Christmas. But he was quite open about the fact that it wasn't the contract he wanted and he was going to go. That's Roy Keane. They gave him the new contract and he stayed. But forever we're getting, even the Anthony Martial's thing, his agent came out and said he wants to leave Manchester United. He's now back at the training ground smiling. Is he leaving? Is he staying? Do you want to clarify that to the fans? going to stay now. There's some people thinking, well, how can he stay when he said that? What's going to change? Is he going to sign the new contract? You've got Paul Pogba playing the bloody football of his life in the World Cup, but saying, basically hinting that he's not happy at Manchester United because he doesn't play where he wants to play. You've got his agent going round. Apparently, well, Pep Guardiola said it, didn't he? He was offered him in January. What's bloody going on at our club? What is going on at our club? We're Manchester United and we're a bloody laughingstock. We are a laughingstock and fans are bloody fed up of it. We're fed up of being embarrassed. We need to sort it out. We need to sort it out big time, because the reality is, if we don't, and Joy Deep says, Mark, you're smoking weed. I don't smoke weed. I don't do drugs. I have the odd beer. I don't need to do drugs. And if you think it's funny, I don't think you're a real Manchester United fan. I really don't. I really don't. I think, and I never say stuff like that. I'm not like that. But if you're happy with the situation at our club at the moment, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell's going on? We're being mocked everywhere. We're being laughed at by Liverpool. We're being joked at on social media by bloody Manchester City. Of all clubs to be mocking us, Man City are taking a pop at us constantly. And what are we doing? What are we doing? Nothing. We're not doing anything. We need to do something. I'm not get the Glaziers out. I'm not Ed Woodward's useless. I'm not Mourinho out, as you well know. But what I am is, get rid of this apathy. Wake the hell up and start doing something at this club. We should be winning the title next year. And I don't buy it. I don't buy Jose Mourinho's "we only need a centre-back and then we're going to evolve the players we've got." You're nowhere near, Jose. And you're nowhere near. We know we're nowhere near. You know we're nowhere near. You know you can't win a title with Phil Jones at centre-back. You know you can't win a title with Ashley Young at left-back. You know you can't win a title with Fellaini in the midfield. He knows it. He knows he can't rely on Lukaku for a whole season because he'll probably get injured. He knows all these things. He knows Pogba and Sanchez can't play together. He knows it, but he's having to put up with it. This is the problem. He's towing the party line because his career got screwed up at Chelsea and he needs it to work here. But he's got no backing from the fans, really. There's a lot of fans on his back. I'm not. I want him to do well next year. But he's lost a lot of support from the fans because of the way he plays football. The board are on his side. And because the board are his biggest ally at the moment, he's having to massage the ego of the board. He's having to get by with what pittance they give him. And he's in a dangerous situation. Jose's ally at the moment is the club. Cobb Ross Aitken says City in the last 6 months have lost Sanchez, Fred, Jorginho to direct rivals. If that was Ed, we would be killing. Imagine the abuse Ed would get if that was him. You know what? To be honest with you, would you really care if Sanchez went to Manchester United and Jorginho went to Chelsea if he'd won the title by 20 points and you just had Riyad Mahrez? You know what City are going to do now? I said this in January. When we were like, oh yeah, well, we've nicked Alexis Sanchez. What a stupid bloody signing that was anyway. What a stupid signing that was. He was having a rubbish season at Arsenal. We should have waited till the summer. And if Sanchez wasn't going to wait till the summer, which was the party line, then we shouldn't have got him. If it was now or never, then he was holding us to ransom. We shouldn't have done that. We destroyed Martial. We destroyed Pogba. We reduced Rashford's chances, and Lingard went from being absolutely brilliant to being okay. And Sanchez hadn't had a good season. So Man City probably saved themselves a lot of hassle with Sanchez. But I don't care. I don't see anything to mock Man City about. I really don't see anything to mock anything about them. They're going to be a fantastic team next season. They missed out by 20. They won the title by 20 points. And you know what? They've missed out on Jorginho, who I thought was okay. They'll probably go and get bloody Kovacic, who's better. This is Manchester City. They ain't going to mess around. They ain't going to cry because they've lost out on a player. They'll just go and get another one. They didn't get Berbatov. We beat them to Berbatov a few years ago. Where are we now? Where are they now? It really isn't an issue. It really isn't an issue for them, and they will continue to do it, and they'll continue to cause us problems. But you know what? In relation to the transfer window, I refuse to sort of melt down about that because we are in a situation where I think we will do some business. But having said that, I've got to be totally honest with you. Look at Liverpool, Shaqiri, Fabinho, Keita. They would have had Fekir as well. They would have had 4 signings done. Fekir fell through because of Liverpool bartering. They would have 4 good signings done. We've signed Fred. Don't come at me and say the lot's a signing for now. He's not. And Tony Grant, or whatever his name is, Phil and Grant, I don't know what I forget what his first name is. All due respect to him, he's going to be a great training ground goalkeeper. You need 3 good goalkeepers for training, but he ain't going to get anywhere near the first team. So we've signed one player, Fred, who wasted his time at a World Cup and probably won't be ready for the first game of the season. So we're basically going into the new season with the same set of players. I see a lot of excitement about the youth players. I did the video earlier. We've got some great youth players. But Jose Mourinho himself has said, I'm only going to use one youth player a year. It's probably going to be Ethan Hamilton. The hint was there when he signed the new contract, and he's over 6'2". So that's the sort of Jose Mourinho player. I don't see the youth being used. But let me throw a hypothetical for you. If we are waiting for Gareth Bale, what the hell are we doing waiting for Gareth Bale? What if he stays at Real Madrid? We're screwed. Cobras Aitken says no chairman can get every one of manager's targets. Managers shouldn't use that as an excuse. Question is, does the manager maximise what he has before we turn on the chairman for more? Well, that's a conversation in itself, isn't it? But what I do agree with is we are leaving it ridiculously late. So late that we could end up with crap. So late that we could end up with nothing. I mean, Daley Blin's going to leave. He should have been gone weeks ago. He should have been gone weeks ago. Darmian's still here. He's going to be playing on the tour and he's leaving. What a waste of time that is. We could be giving somebody a game time on the tour. We're going to give it to somebody we're going to bloody sell. Daley Blin's going to go, like I say. We're probably waiting on Gareth Bale. But Gareth Bale himself says, I need to speak to Real Madrid. What if Real Madrid say, Gareth, you're going to play loads of games. We love you here. Sorry, Manchester United, I'm not interested. Oh, what are we going to do then? Oh, Willian. Let's go for Willian now. Yeah, last minute signing. Let's get Willian in. It's a joke. It's a joke. We should have had far better plans. But the trouble is, when you go for somebody like Gareth Bale, who plays for Real Madrid, who've won 3 Champions Leagues in a row, of course they're going to sit back and go, I don't know. I don't know whether I'm that interested in you at the moment, actually, because you're sort of second best. And that's the situation we're in. So we sort of fall into the apathetic trap again. Well, we can't attract the best players because they don't like Mourinho's. They're only going to come for the money. They don't like Mourinho's style of play. And we're not winning Champions League. I don't see Chelsea are going to struggle with that. You know, Sarri, he's okay, but he's not won anything major. He's going to Chelsea. They're not in the Champions League. I guarantee you they'll get a Higuain, they'll get a Cardi, someone like that. They'll make really good signings. They've got Jorginho. Jorginho was going to Man City. Jorginho apparently was snubbing us because of the style of football we play, and City are going to win the league. Well, he's going to Chelsea. They didn't win the league. No one knows what their bloody style of play is going to be, and they're not in the Champions League. So you can sign any bloody player you want to if you want to go out and get them. We're just slow. We're slow, and I still think we're going to make a couple of signings. I still think that we can salvage this transfer window, but what we can't salvage is the weeks we've lost. What we can't salvage is that we're already a week into training. What we can't salvage is that we're going on a US tour. What we can't salvage is that we're probably not going to sign anybody for another week. What we can't salvage is that the new signings that come in are not going to be embedded in the team. And what we can't salvage is that we were 20 points behind Man City. They've got total stability. They've got the same set of players that annihilated the league last season, and we still haven't made any changes to make us better. How the hell can you close a gap on a phenomenal force like Man City when you're not ready when pre-season starts? We're not ready. Why are we not ready? Why are we not ready? And I know for a fact that Jose Mourinho has given the list to Jose. He's given him the list. So again, the same as last season. Why have we not delivered on it? And you get silly nonsense comments about, oh, it's because of the ladies' team. What a load of nonsense. We need a ladies' team. We're announcing a kitchen manufacturer. What the hell? I don't give a damn about the kitchen manufacturer in America. With all due respect, I ain't going to buy a kitchen from America. What I do give a damn about is that the season kicks off in less than 4 weeks and our transfer window has not been good enough and it needs to be better. But above all of this, we are going to win the title next year. And I'm going to keep saying this because we should win the title next year. We've got the money to be the title winners next season. We've got the status to be title winners next season. We've got the manager to be title winners next season. And I am not buying into this apathy of it's going to be very hard for us to win the title next season. Why? Why is it going to be hard for us to win the title next season? What excuse are you going to throw up for it to be hard to win a title next season? We're Manchester United. The fans haven't changed. We're still the arrogant, up ourselves, want to be number one Manchester United fans. And we're not for changing. We're not going to change. We're not going to accept being mocked by Liverpool fans. We're not going to accept being embarrassed and joked about by a club that didn't exist 10 years ago on their bloody Twitter account, Manchester City. We're not accepting it. So the club need to realise that the fans are not going to sit down and accept this mediocre, apathetic approach to trying to close a gap that I tell you what, Sir Alex Ferguson would not be sat there going, we're going to try our best to close the gap next season. He'd say it how it is. He'd say it's going to be very, very difficult. Of course it's going to be very difficult, but we're going to give it a go. We're going to close that gap. We're going to knock them off the perch, because if you don't believe it, you're never going to achieve it, and we need to achieve it. And that is how I feel about it at the moment. There's some good players we can go and get. I mean, I watched England versus Belgium this afternoon. I thought that Rashford, when he came on, looked good. He moved the ball quickly. I really, really, really like to... Sandro's not going to PSG. Where's this crap coming from? If Sandro goes to PSG, I mean, God, can it get any worse? I'll tell you what, Bale will go to Bayern next. We'll sell Martial to Juventus and we'll sign Willian. That'll be our summer, won't it? It'll get better and better. Sandro's going to sign for PSG or Chelsea, says Andrew Ellis. Yeah, right. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. I think it's total nonsense. Archie started it. Mourinho is the best at the moment to manage United if he gets his targets. I agree with that. I don't want Mourinho out. I know a lot of you do. I don't want Mourinho out of the club. I really don't. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes while we're live. Got a lot of people watching. It's Raw tonight on the United Stand. We're going to take some of your comments. Let's hit 1,000 likes and let's go bloody Raw. But what I was trying to say is that I watched Harry Maguire tonight and I've seen a bit of him for Leicester. So it's much the same as what he does Leicester for England. And I watched Alderweireld for Belgium. And a lot of Man United fans want Alderweireld. I want Alderweireld. He's great. And I looked at Maguire and I looked at Alderweireld. And I know they're playing in a third place playoff. But I thought Maguire's better than the air. He's a little bit slower, but not much. He always wants the ball. He can pass the ball off both feet. He brings the ball out the back. He's good in the tackle. He throws himself in front of tackles. Why are we not going and get Harry Maguire? 50 million quid. Go and get Harry Maguire. Go on. Go and get Harry Maguire. English talent as well. That's what we should do. That's what we should do. Let's not go and get Alderweireld. And I don't think we're in for Alderweireld anyway. He wins all his headers as well, disease gaming, and he's absolutely brilliant off set pieces. If Jose Mourinho's got to deal with scraps, which is basically, I think, what he's got to do at Manchester United at the moment, then he's got to box cleverly. He's got to bring the right sort of players in, and we need a left back, we need a centre back, and we really need Paul Pogba to turn up next season. No excuses. We need him to turn up like he has done for France next season. And we need Alexis Sanchez to be the player that we signed. We need Lukaku to stay being the goal scorer that he is. We need Lingard and Rashford to bring some confidence back from England. We need Martial part of the team. We need Matic to have another good season. We need Fred to be a good signing. We need a lot of things to fall into place next season. But we are not going to get anywhere with what we've got at the moment. We need more. We need more. And we must deliver more. And I don't know. I do believe we're going to sign a couple of signings. But for me, I'm just irritated. I'm irritated tonight by it's not even the style of football. That irritates me a little bit. It's not the lack of signings. That irritates me a little bit. What's irritated me tonight is that bloody tweet from Man City mocking Lukaku. And they did it subtly, but they knew what they were doing. And it was like a culmination of 6 years. And I thought, what the hell have we been doing for 6 years? Who is in charge of our club? Who is in charge of our club who actually understands what Manchester United's all about? Because it's all right being great at business. It's all right about making a lot of money. But who actually supports Manchester United within our hierarchy? Who has influence on our club? David Moyes was a bloody idiotic move. Van Gaal was even worse. The signings have been crap and slow. And here we are with Jose Mourinho, a winner, a born winner, an achiever. And we're going through the same nonsense again, where he's quite clearly not getting what he needs. And I don't think Jose Mourinho is much to blame with what's going on this summer at all. I think he's powerless. He's had a summer where he's been out at the Russian World Cup. He's come back to pre-season training. There's no way he's happy. There's no way he's happy with what he's got. He's not. I mean, Jamie White says Mourinho's the worst, but the transfer business is what's irritating people. And there's no way that's on Jose. No way it's on him at all at the moment. It's not. It's not being delivered. We're not delivering. And if Ed Woodward's struggling because, clubs are hard bargaining us or whatever, why do Man City never spend more than £60 million on a player? Why do Liverpool get business done in a matter of hours? Why do we get bent over and done over? We're not the richest club when it comes to signings. Man City spend a lot more than us. So why do they get away with it? We're not the best club in the world at the moment. Man City are. So why do they get away with it? We weren't in the Champions League final. Liverpool were in it. So why do they get cheap signings? Why do we get Why do our signings take so long? And why do we spend so much? Because of something going on at our club that I don't know what it is. But I think we're inadequate when it comes to Manchester, when it comes to transfers. We're very slow. And that slowness is going to hurt us. It really is. I mean, we've heard for 3 days that Daley Blind's going. When's he going to go? When is he going to go? And I just want to say as well, all the best to Daley Blind. I think Daley Blind has always been Mr. Reliable. I think he's a better left back than Ashley Young. That's my personal opinion. I think the season we won the Europa League, all our centre backs got injured again, and he came in with Smalling and played in the final and played in the last few games. And without him, we would have been in trouble. I think Daley Blind's been a really good servant to the club. Maybe not a first teamer, but I think I quite liked him at left back. He was never a midfielder. He's not a Premier League midfielder. It's too quick for him, and he's too left-footed. But I think as a left-sided centre back and a left back, I quite liked him. So I wish him all the best. I think he's a better centre back than Phil Jones, but you know, Mourinho obviously thinks differently of it. But that deal should have been done a long time ago. Darmian, the most boring transfer of 2018 summer, still here, still not gone. Now talking about loans. We need to get our finger out there. We've got time to do it, but my irritant at the moment is 100%. We're becoming a laughing stock, and our fans are too hardcore, and our fans are too passionate for this to happen. And you know, you're always going to get arguments amongst fans, aren't you? You're always going to say people are, you know, you don't speak for the fans. I don't speak for the fans. I speak for myself. The United Stand is a fan channel. That's why we have the calls in. That's why we have the fan cams. But, you know, someone's got to present it. That's me. I've never said for 1 minute I speak for the fans. I don't. You know, a lot of you might agree with me. A lot of you might disagree with me. But I think at the end of the day, I don't think many Manchester United fans would disagree with what I said at the start, that we're a bloody joke. What we've done over the last 6 years is a joke. And we are a joke. And I'm not calling us a joke. We are a joke because we're being joked about. Arsenal fans are laughing at us this summer, and that's how bad it is. Man City do what they do. They're always looking to have a dig at us. That's why when they put that poster of when they got Tevez about the city is blue, they're obsessed with us. But the worst thing about an obsession is when somebody's obsessed with you, but they're doing better than you. And Liverpool are obsessed with as well. But they're doing better in the transfer window. There may be trouble ahead. And you know what my biggest fear is? Somebody said to me, what's your biggest fear about next season? My biggest fear is, and I think for some fans it's exciting, but for me it's a bloody nightmare. My biggest fear is that Mourinho walks next year. Because if Mourinho walks next year, that means we're going to be really struggling for top four. Because for him to walk, we've got to do badly. And if he's doing badly, we're struggling for top four, which means another new manager, which means more evolution. But the thing I would say to you is, if it was Pochettino, if it was the class of 92, where's the money? If Jose Mourinho, the most successful manager in the world, can't get the money out of this club, who the hell else is going to do it? You know, Mourinho, he doesn't care. What did Ander Herrera say? The amazing thing about Jose Mourinho is he doesn't care. He doesn't care what anybody says about him. It's an amazing trait to have, but it serves him really well. Jose Mourinho doesn't care what the fans think. Jose Mourinho doesn't care what the press say. Jose Mourinho is the best manager in the world on paper, but Jose Mourinho is having to make do with Phil Jones and Ashley Young and Marouane Fellaini at this club. Why do you think he begged Fellaini to stay? I think he likes him. I think he likes what he gives to the team, but I think it was more about if he goes for free, I've got to try and spend money to replace that option, which I haven't got. He's having to make do. He can't get the money out of this club. He can't get it. Because Jose Mourinho is a checkbook manager. He always has been. I love Jose, but he's a checkbook manager. He doesn't use the youth. And he's a winner. But at Manchester United, he can't really use the youth because that's not what he's all about. He's not getting the money and we're struggling. And he can't get the money out of the club. So if he can't get the money out of the club, who can? And of course, people will say, I don't like the fact that we're a money club. But we need to be a money club. We need to be a money club because, and I don't like it as much as you, but we need to be a money club because if we're not a money club, we're going to fail. Because we spent too much money, even on people like Daley Blind, who I like, Darmian, Memphis Depay, Di Maria, Falcao, Fellaini, Mata. The list goes on and Mkhitaryan. There's loads of them that we've signed. And they've been bad signings for one reason or another. And we have got a squad that is full of players that are not strong enough mentally. They're not leaders. They're not Manchester United players. Nice lads, but they're not Manchester United players, some of them. And they're not good enough. And Jose Mourinho is having to make do. I'll guarantee you, as I said before, if Jose Mourinho was given £500 million tomorrow, you'd see 5 or 6, 7 players come in that he really wants and we would improve. He's having to make do. It was the dream job for him. No word of a lie. It was the dream job for him, but he has not been given the resources. And I know people will say, oh, you want another £500 million, Mark. Oh, you're just a money club. Look, at the end of the day, you tell me a better solution. We have not got the youth players at the moment. We have not got a class of 92. And even the class of 92, for anyone who's old enough, I'll tell you something now. You don't win anything with kids. Alan Hansen was spot on. You don't win anything with kids. You win something with Schmeichel in goal, Roy Keane in the midfield, and Eric Cantona in the team. That's how they won that. They had 3 massive leaders in that team, and others, but they had 3 massive leaders to go with 5 or 6 absolutely superb young players. And Manchester United could turn the tap off of money tomorrow. Of course they could. But Chong, Gomez, McTominay, Fosu Mensah, Pereira, they ain't going to win you a title. We've been mid-table because we haven't got any leaders with them. So we've got to spend money. We've got to spend our way out of this problem. I don't like that, but we have to spend money to get ourselves out of this problem. And you know what? For people who moan about a club spending money, Abramovich puts his own money into that club. Man City put their own money into that club. Manchester United, I mean, they don't put their own money into it. They put their owners' money into the club, they do. Manchester United, everything we spend comes from us. It comes from the sponsors who want our eyes. It comes from our pocket for the merchandise, the TV money. It all comes because of the massive club we are. We're not a club based on a rich benefactor pumping it in. Sometimes I wish we were, because it doesn't do Man City or Chelsea any harm, does it? You get mocked. Oh, you get called oil money. Oh, I'm sure Man City and Chelsea fans really struggle to sleep at night because they get called a club that was based on oil money. They won't. But we have the money. Unfortunately, we've got a board that doesn't want to spend it. And that is all it comes down to. All it comes down to is we've got the money, but it won't be spent. And it's not acceptable because it's now getting to the point where fans who've put years and years into this club, who love the club, who are falling out with each other, but fans who have put years and years into this club are now being embarrassed and now being mocked. And it's not right. It's not fair because it doesn't make any sense. If we'd been relegated to the Championship because we'd done something wrong, financial fair play, points deduction, massive fine, can't sign any players for 2 years, no, none of us would go anywhere. We'd be in the Championship, we'd be mocked, but there'd be a reason for it and we'd have to go, you know what, hands up, we start again. It happened to Juventus a few years ago. We start again, but we don't go anywhere. It's a bit like Rangers in the Premier League. You don't go anywhere. You're with them for that journey back. And, you sort of enjoy that journey back, don't you? Because it's us against them. We've got to do it with what we've got. The trouble United fans have at the moment is that we are almost like we've been a victim of the transfer ban. It's almost like we've had a points deduction because we know we've got one. We know we're struggling next season. We know we haven't got the players in, but there's no justification for it. The only justification is the apathy that we get, the radio silence that we get from the club. Constantly, journalists will always link us to players because that's Manchester United, but will we sign them? If Sandro did go to PSG, would the club come out and say anything? They'd probably no. It'd be like, oh, we weren't in for him anyway. But we should have been in for him. And next season, if we are going into it low expectations and we are battling for 4th with Arsenal and Spurs and Chelsea and Liverpool improve and Man City and they're battling for the title, should we sit there and go, that's acceptable? And I say no. I say no because there's no justification for it. There's no justification for it. This is what irritates me. There's no justification for it. We are the richest club in the world. We've got loads of money, but our club won't spend it. So we haven't had a ban. We've not been relegated to the Championship. We've not been given a points deduction. We should win the title next year because we should spend the money that this club has got from the fans on improving the squad. It's just about having... Liverpool's owners have been mocked, but actually they're going out spending money. Manchester City's owners, it's all about oil money, but they want to be successful. What they actually want is something very scary. They want a self-sufficient club. And it goes back to that little spark in a hayfield that summer's morning when Manchester City started. And Sir Alex called them the noisy neighbours, and he did a good job at dealing with them. But since Sir Alex Ferguson's gone, that little fire that we were sort of dealing with, it was getting a little bit hot at sometimes, and sometimes we were getting burnt. We were putting it out. We were dealing with it. Sir Alex Ferguson went, and it took over the world. And that's what Man City are doing. It's a fire that we could still put out now. But you know what? Instead of hitting it with a bloody truckload of fire engines, we're not. We're still just put a little bit of water on it, keep the money back. And, at the end of the day, it's going to kill us. It's going to kill us, isn't it? It will kill us. It's like cancer, isn't it? It's just spreading. And I'm not calling Man City cancer. That's not fair. That's not what I'm calling them. But what I'm saying is, if you ignore it and you don't treat it and you don't attack it, it's going to get bigger and eventually it's going to consume you. And I feel that's what's happening with Manchester United at the moment. We're so apathetic to the threats around us that they're all surrounding us and they're going to consume us. And how are we going to come back? So an individual transfer summer, yeah, I'm getting a little bit worried about it. Last season's form from Christmas to the end of the season, what we did against Sevilla, yeah, it was frustrating. But it's not an immediate problem for me. This is a culmination of 6 years. I'm fed up to the back teeth of what's happening to our club and how it's being mocked and laughed at when there's no reason for it. There's no justifiable reason. We don't get any justifiable reason from this club why we're not spending the money we need, why we're not being aggressive. Why is there no, there's no reason why Jose Mourinho can't come out and say, I'm going for Pep. We're going for him. He won't do it. There's nothing more that Jose Mourinho would like to do than get into a verbal argument with Pep Guardiola. And this is what we anticipated 2 years ago. Why has that never happened? Why has it never happened? The press expected it. We expected it. Jose Mourinho is going to go to town on Pep Guardiola. He's going to own him. It's going to be World War III. And he never did it. And you know why he doesn't do it? Jose Mourinho will not attack Pep Guardiola. Do you know why? Because you don't go into a fight with two arms tied behind your back. If Jose Mourinho had two hands free, he could probably deal with Pep. It'd be a good fight. It'd be a good fight, but he'd fancy his chances. The problem is, Jose Mourinho will not attack Pep Guardiola because he knows if he does, Pep's just going to take pot shots at him because he's going to have his hands tied behind his back because Pep's got everything he needs at Man City. He's got the players, he's got the board that backs him, he's on cloud nine. Jose Mourinho, he wants to have a fight, but he can't do it because he's got a board that's tying his hands behind his back. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. There's no I can't give you the answer. Maybe some of you in the live comments have got the answer. Maybe people can comment below about the answer. Maybe I've irritated you. But all I'm saying is, this is not acceptable what's going on at our club for the last 6 years. Enough is enough, really. I mean, enough isn't enough because it's going to continue. But my way of dealing it from now on is I'm just going to say we're winning the league. We're going to win the league because we should win the league. There's no reason we shouldn't win the league. We've got the money to spend. If we don't spend it, then why are we not spending it? So we're winning the league. That's my coping mechanism from now on. We're going to win the league because we should win the league. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. Somebody tell me why we can't win the league next season. And don't tell me because the board aren't going to spend the money. But it's our money. It's our money. We put the money in there. Why can't they spend the money? Why can't they go out tomorrow and spend the money? So I'm going to just believe that they're going to spend the money. And I'm going to believe that we're going to win the league. And I'm going to believe that we're going to play great football like we have done for many years. And I'm going to believe that these players, because the players are responsible as well, I'm going to believe that these players are going to look, when they pick up that shirt in the dressing room and put it on, they're going to feel the history of the Roy Keanes, of the Bobby Charltons, of the Brian Robsons, of the George Bests, of the Duncan Edwards, of the Roger Burns. You know, they're going to feel that history of the Cantonars, of the Beckhams, of the Nevilles, of the Giggs. And they're going to feel that shirt and they're going to breathe it in and they're going to feel proud. And that's going to give them another 10%. Because a Manchester United shirt, it's a bit like a Harry Potter disappearing cloak, isn't it? It gives you superpowers. That shirt should inspire somebody who's an 8 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10. And at the moment, we're not inspired. There's so much apathy around that club. It needs a big kick up the backside. It needs a kick up the backside from the board. They need to go out. What amazes me, because I've worked in finance, is that to make money, you spend money. You don't do something stupid. You don't make a tenner by spending $1 billion. But Manchester United, look at what Juventus just did. This is the best example in the world. Smash the like. We're nearly at 1,000 likes. Pogba to Juventus, says MK Christian. Never going to happen. But look at what Juventus have just done. They've just bought Ronaldo. Their stock price has gone through the roof. Their social media followings have gone through the roof. Their merchandising is going to go through the roof. They're going to make loads of money. That Ronaldo deal, whether we could have got Ronaldo or not, I don't know, but that Ronaldo deal will get them a lot of money. The football they'll play with Ronaldo over the next year will bring them more fans. They're fans that were maybe a bit, I don't know whether they'll go and watch Juventus today. They'll go and watch them. They'll make more money from that Ronaldo deal than they'll ever spend on it. It's simple as that. So Manchester United we got second place. We're in the top 4. We're going to make the money off Cola. We're going to make the Champions League money. That's our shareholders happy. with the right sort of owners who understand football and support Manchester United and understand what Manchester United fans are about, they would be aggressive. They would go, right, get Bale, get Milinkovic-Savic, get Sandro, get Lenglet. We'll fight Barcelona for him. If you don't get him, get Maguire. And do we need anybody else? No. Yeah, that's enough. Right, we're gonna bloody have a go at Man City next season, Jose, and we're gonna play good football, aren't we? Yes, we are. Okay, we're off. We're up and running. Right, I've given you 250 million pounds there. Now, really, I'd only give you 150. But what's going to happen is we're going to sell a load of shirts. We're going to get a load of people interested. We're going to be on TV more. We're going to get to the latter stages of the